Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am your friend Rahul Saigaonker. Today's discussion is about emerging technology. Now, whenever we mention about emerging technology, immediately artificial intelligence comes into our mind, isn't it? It's a buzzword these days. Every alternate day, we talk about AI-based innovation, AI-based design, AI-based new model. We talk about Chat GPT. It has become a revolution these days. Chat GPT is a generative pre-trained transformer, which is a chatbot where huge amount of text-based data has been inputted into that chatbot and it can get into a conversation with you. We have all seen its potential. We have all seen its application. We have also talked about the negative consequences that AI might lead to a lot of job cuts and a lot of unemployment. Today, we are going to talk about AI. We are going to talk about Chat GPT, but we are going to limit our discussion about AI and its impact on the education sector. We are going to ask a question. Can AI be a game changer in the education sector in our country? That's the agenda of our discussion. In fact, let us begin our discussion with a question. The question reads, Chat GPT and other similar AI applications. I already told you about Chat GPT. It has become a buzzword these days. But this discussion is about not just Chat GPT, but any other AI application. The statement is Chat GPT and other similar AI applications are poised to bring a revolution in education sector in India by ushering in a disruptive paradigm shift in learning and teaching process. So these are the keywords, learning and teaching process, and you have to critically analyze this particular statement. That means you need to talk about how AI is going to impact both pros and cons of this particular aspect on the education sector. That is the agenda for discussion. For this particular question, you will get very good fodder in this discussion. Let us begin without any delay. But before that, there is a small notice for all of you. If you are preparing for UPSC Civil Services examination, then this is the program for you. StudyIQ has created a unique program where we will be hand-holding you from prelims to interview. Prelims to interview batch is going to begin from May 5th. If you clear preliminary examination for UPSC 2024, your mains preparation, the mains residential program would be completely taken care of by StudyIQ. We will be also giving you guidance for interview where there will be mock interviews held for you. And all this entire comprehensive program where there's already one-to-one mentorship, there's already group mentorship, current affairs program, success and prelims program, all this is priced at a very affordable range to 9999, right? And if you want this discounted price, you have to use my code Rahul Live. Do it on the app or on the website. Sure, right? I'll see you in the class. All right, let's begin our discussion. As I told you, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence and its application or its impact on the education sector. Now, why are we talking about this? Because in recent times, especially when it comes to Chat GPT, there has been a negative notion or a negative attitude which has already developed, not just in India, but in many other countries. For example, in countries like Singapore, United States of America, one of the cons or one of the adverse impacts of Chat GPT was highlighted that students are going to use Chat GPT for copying, for malpractice, right? Because the work would not be their original work. Say, for example, if a teacher has given an assignment to me, say, write an essay on one particular topic, I simply go to Chat GPT and ask, write an essay with specific word limit, and I simply input that to GPT and it gives me my essay. My assignment is done. And it is because of this, many people believe that it is going to negatively impact, especially the learning process of students. There would be more and more plagiarism, there would be more and more copying, more malpractice, less of original content, lesser critical thinking by the students. And that is why a couple of months back, even CBSE in their notification, CBSE in their exam notification for 10th and 12th, and along with that on the admit card also, in 10th admit card and 12th admit card, there was a specific mention that Chat GPT is going to be banned. That means there will be no use of mobile phones, electronic equipments, electronic gadgets, smart watches, etc. And they also mentioned about Chat GPT, which was kind of strange. There was a lot of criticism on this also, because many people highlighted that there is no use to it, because one needs to understand, to use Chat GPT, we do need some sort of electronic devices. But when electronic devices themselves are banned, then what is the use of this particular notification, right? A very, very funny thing did happen. But what I want to tell you here in this particular discussion is that there is some sort of a negative bias or a wrong notion already about chat GPT and other AI based applications, which are going to have certain negative impacts on the student and the learning process. And what are those negative impacts? Of course, there might be, many people think that AI is going to be a threat to the education sector, especially it is going to have adverse consequences on students. Why? Because students are not now going to use a shortcut. There is already a big problem of learning outcomes in India, we know that. And add to it, you are providing a tool to the students where they can get ready-made data from the artificial intelligence based tool. So what is going to happen? More malpractice, more misconduct. As I gave you example that the teacher has given me an assignment, I don't finish that assignment, I don't put my effort, I simply go, I ask the query to chatbot, it is going to give me the answer. That means I'm going to become lazy. There is a possibility that students might become lazy. If students are not putting in their effort, if students are not thinking, if the question that is asked, if they are getting direct answer to it, where is the critical thinking of the student? How will they develop reasoning? Without that effort, education or learning outcome would further be degraded. That's one of the I would say a counterpoints against artificial intelligence. Apart from that, there is one more thought, that there will be more and more screen time, and this is a big problem for everybody. I'm quite sure many people who are watching this might have experienced this with especially children around you. You must have seen, if there is a school student or someone, they must be continuously having a lot of screen time already. Add to it chat GPT for studies. Now there is an excuse that I am using the mobile, or I'm using an electronic equipment or electronic gadget for my homework. More screen time. Apart from that, there is also an issue of learning from inaccurate sources. See, ChatGPT itself has given many wrong answers to multiple questions, isn't it? So if there are many other AI applications which give you inaccurate information, which teach you wrong things, which teach you the human bias, that is a problem, isn't it? Apart from that, there is also issue of this digital divide and unequal access. That's a big problem, because AI is some sort of an enablement for the rich people. What about the poor people? What about the people who do not have digital means, who do not even know about this chat GPT? In fact, the strange thing happened, as I told you, CBSE in the notification, in the admit card also, they put chat GPT. And when parents read about that, many of the parents, including the students, they were not aware of chat GPT at all. They were thinking, what is this, right? So these things can happen. Digital divide is another issue. Yes, there are some problems for sure. But to answer to the question that can AI bring a revolution in India's education sector, we need to understand some other issues of our education sector. We all know that Indian education or Indian education domain has been plagued with multiple issues. We can divide them broadly under two heads. One would be the infrastructural issue. We all know that, meaning there is a shortage of funding when it comes to education, R&D. We all know that. There is shortage of school infrastructure, of course. Now, when I mention this, I'm not talking about the private schools. I'm talking about the community schools, government schools, right? The public schools in India. There is shortage of infrastructure. That means there is a stark divide already between private school students and the government school students. In schools, there are no toilets, there are no digital infrastructure. In fact, the entire school building or the playground, all these infrastructural problems are already there. And you can read about any report on education, you'll understand. Yes. Apart from that, there is also issue of shortage. Now, when I mention shortage, I categorically want to add here the shortage of teachers, because this is very much relevant for us in this particular discussion. So in terms of infrastructural issues, we have this, yes. But add to it, in India, we already have a problem of outcome-based issues. Outcome means whatever is taught in the school, is it being learned by the students? We all know about the ACER report, Annual Survey of the Education report in India, given by Pratham. And every time, whenever they come with the report, they suggest that in India, there is a problem of outdated curriculum. Yes, there is a focus in India on rote learning. There is seldom any thought of critical learning in India. It's just about mugging up things and getting marks, clearing your grade. That's the idea. There's no focus on critical learning. Apart from that, there is also issue of unequal access. As I mentioned, again, a digital divide is there. Urban versus rural, private school versus government school, all these issues are already there. And there is a problem with outcome. Correct? Now, why I mentioned this? First, I mentioned the problems with the artificial intelligence. Yes, Next, I am talking about the education sector, because we need to understand, can artificial intelligence really help in resolving these issues? I want to know that. How can AI help in this? How can AI help in this? Right? See, there are many positive snippets also here. In fact, Niti Aayog really believes that artificial intelligence is going to be a revolution in education sector. It says that India's education sector is ripe for a disruption by artificial intelligence. Niti Aayog's publication or report, Responsible AI for All, in its approach document, they have clearly highlighted that the national strategy for artificial intelligence, it can successfully be brought to bring about a disruption or to bring about better outcomes in which sectors? In healthcare sector, in agriculture sector, and please focus here, in the education sector as well. So Niti Aayog does believe that AI is going to play a huge role going into future in bringing some sort of a disruption in a very positive way in India's education sector. The question arises, sir, how exactly can this happen? Because till now what you have spoken about is the bad facets or the cons of AI in the education sector. But how can we change it? What kind of policy can we bring using which AI can transform India's education sector in terms of infrastructure, in terms of outcome as well? See, the first thing is AI and AI based tools can generate such kind of data which can be used specifically to fulfill the school requirements. For instance, it can generate data where certain schools which require infrastructure, that can be highlighted, certain schools which require specific number of teachers, that can be highlighted, certain schools where there are other facilities, say there is no toilet facility, classroom facility, the board is a problem, there is no blackboard, or there is a need of a digital board. All these things, such data can be generated by artificial intelligence, isn't it? So this can help us in resolving and pinpointing what kind of infrastructural issue is there in particular school, in a particular state, in a particular district, or even at the local level as well. So first is data driven resolution of problems connected to infrastructure. The next is how it can transform or how it can help others. For instance, how AI can be used by the teachers. See, we all know, and when I say teachers, I am here talking about, again, broadly both government and private sector teachers, but focusing more on government teachers. See, government teachers, they have multiple roles. Of course, they teach in the school, yes, but they also have a lot of government duties. We all know that in India, there is a festival of elections which goes on. There is the general election, the state election, the local election, the panchayat election, continuously election goes. Other duties are also assigned to school teachers. That means they just don't teach, they do a lot of other work. And for this, they can use AI. Bringing AI into their own training can transform or can improve their efficiency manifold, right? So AI for teachers can be used in terms of the training, or else we already know that in India there is a shortage of teachers. In India, the teacher to pupil ratio approximately is 1:32. That means one teacher, they take care of around 32 students, and the world average is at least -10. If I'm not wrong, the correct data would be 1:21, the world average. That means at the world level, in fact, developed countries have a much lower number, and it is always better, no? Meaning one teacher taking care of, say, 20 students, it will bring more and more efficiency and better learning outcomes. If one teacher is handling 30 to 40 students, it becomes a problem, isn't it? So in that scenario, if there is a shortage, AI itself can act as a teacher. And for that, a sound policy is needed. Of course, I'm not talking about AI which teaches from wrong sources or bad sources. Yes, AI can act as teacher. AI can act as an evaluator, right? Say if it can help in your performance evaluation. So AI itself can act as a teacher. Why not? Because we are moving towards e-education. We talk about massive online courses, we talk about Swayam Prabha, we talk about Swayam programs where people are learning. We have direct to home channels where education is also being taught. There are so many education channels. Then why can't AI act as teachers as well? And finally, AI for students, it is going to be a game changer. Now here you must be thinking, sir, what are you talking? You're countering your own point. You said, if I allow students to use artificial intelligence, then there is a chance of plagiarism, there is a chance of malpractice, copying, students can become lazy. Yes, all those issues are there. But if we plan and if we bring policies such that despite using AI, students can develop critical thinking, can develop teamwork. Say, for example, we can go for some sort of a cooperative model of learning. We create a team and give them such assignment where it's like an open book assignment, open internet assignment. Do whatever you want to do and get a solution for this. And when you work as a team, then you come up with other ideas, right? Such kind of learning models can be developed, isn't it? So innovative learning processes can be evolved where let the students use AI. Now, if students are using AI, the teachers are also using AI, and they can immediately check if it is plagiarized, if it is original work, or if it's just copy pasted work. That means a level playing field for everybody. So new learning models can be developed where we'll completely leave behind the rote learning stuff. So now, have I made a sound case that AI can bring disruption in education sector? Perhaps yes. But there is always a condition applied here. Yes, we talk about AI, we talk about e-education, we talk about internet, we talk about Internet of Things, bringing a revolution. The entire information and communications technology has brought a revolution. Yes, but conditions has to be applied here. Why? Because there is a massive digital divide in our country already. I told you there is some aspect of inequality between urban India and rural India, inequality between private school and a government school, inequality in terms of digital access as well. And if we do not bridge the gap between these inequalities, then no amount of artificial intelligence is going to bring inclusive reforms in education sector. That's the final conclusion of our discussion today. But I hope I have given you good insight into the question with which we started, that we need to understand both the facets. Yes, AI can bring a disruption in a bad way, AI can bring a disruption in a good way, but we need to focus on the good rather than bad. We need to reduce the negative consequences, because technology is not going anywhere. You need to understand AI is already a reality. No matter how many notifications you give, no matter how many instructions you put, that chat GPT cannot be used, or students are not supposed to use chat GPT for getting their homework done, that those things are already there in our life. So technology cannot be stopped, right? We need to adapt to that speed of technology. Perhaps a time has come where we need a sound policy where we use artificial intelligence in our education sector to bring a positive and a meaningful change, especially to enhance our learning outcomes, right? So that's it in this particular discussion. If there is any news, if there are any schemes over this, we'll surely talk on StudyIQ again. But before I move, if you have liked this video, you can always follow me on this particular ID @Rahul Sai 222. You can always message me on Instagram. I do respond on Saturdays and Sundays. Thank you for watching this video. Jai Hind.